Where are we going?
Oh, I can't remember. Kids, where are we going?
Camping!
Yeah, we're going camping apparently. We're heading for not far from Kayleigh, about 15 minutes from Kayleigh on the east riding of Yorkshire for 3 nights family camping. Join us for the madness.
Well, back good Aviary fans, this is not a normal video. We've gone camping with the kids for a few days. How much birding is going to be involved, I don't know, but I'm sure we'll do some really cool things. So stay with us for this unusual edition.
Hello.
Hello.
Say hello to the camera.
Hello to the camera.
With the tent having inflatable beams, it went up reasonably quickly. By this time, it was time to get some food and head to bed. Morning, folks. After a surprisingly good night's sleep, we're up. We got up about 6:30. So now I think it's about 10 to 8. The only other people that are up are Kayleigh and Emily. I just went to drive to Tesco to get some breakfasty stuff, and it was closed. So I had a bit of a drive around. I saw this lovely great partridge. And a little further on, a pretty vocal peacock. So that's a great start to the day, nevertheless. I don't know how much more birding we're going to do today with the girls involved, because not all of them are into it. But we'll see what we can do. Anyway, see you shortly. After my small detour on the way back from Tesco's, we scanned the sea with the scope and then headed off towards Spurn. Family twitching mission. So apparently there's a great snipe further ahead. We're going to go and have a look, and hopefully that'll be there. It's a life of great snipe there.
It's still there. It'll come back.
That's encouraging. Let's go and see it. When we got up to the warren, there were plenty of other birders there. The great snipe was there, but a little elusive, dipping in and out of vegetation. Soon enough, it found a spot to put its head under its wing and have a snooze, occasionally lifting its head up to give us a view of that enormous beak. It did occasionally go slightly deeper into the vegetation, so it was out of sight. Although not the clearest views of a bird we've ever had, it was still a great sighting and a first for us. Whilst we were there, we bumped into one of our subscribers who was doing some ringing. Spurn is a prime area for bird ringing, as you get many birds flying through. The birds are caught in nets and very quickly taken, looked over to see if they're healthy, weighed and ringed. This process is not only fascinating but very, very useful, and teaches a lot about birds' movements, migration and population fluctuations. These birds are handled very carefully and set free as soon as possible. This process gives us information that is key to bird conservation, so we were privileged to have witnessed it. So the great snipe, did we see it?
Yeah?
Yeah, we got the great snipe, and that is a lifer for all of us. And even Emily's in the background. Lily's gone off running, but cool. Right, excellent. So, I don't know what we're doing now. We're playing on the beach. See you later. We all enjoyed a very windy wander and a play on the beach, with the kids getting covered in sand and sand in their shoes like Lily here. After a short while of exploring on the beach, we wandered towards Spurn Discovery Centre, where Lily took over the camera duties and gave us a little tour of this wartime storage unit. There is a wealth of wartime history here at Spurn. A bit more on that a little later on. After a drink and a pastry at Spurn Discovery Centre, watching the swallows coming in and out of nests, myself and Olivia headed off to the canal scrape hide to see what was there. Looking out on this little piece of water, there were a few ducks, including the shell duck, but our view was a little obstructed by this huge Highland cow. Whilst we were trying to look past this cow, a swallow flew into the hide and into its nest that was in the top corner. The swallow appeared to have young, but we didn't get too close. Another bird with young was this grey-lag goose that was swimming in front of us. Soon after that, a little egret flew in very, very close. Seeming reasonably oblivious to us in the hide, it started fishing. We decided now to take a ride a few minutes up the road to Kayleigh Wetlands. Hey folks, we're here at Kayleigh Wetlands. Not here for anything specific, just seeing what's about. And we've also come to see Kayleigh Sound Mirror because Lily is very into her history. As usual, there was a reasonable amount of life on the wetlands, including this mute swan, quite a few waders, including this avocet, of which there were a few of these birds around, and a little bit closer in towards us was a ringed plover running along the shore. Another bird we saw but didn't get any footage of was a little stint. Whilst we were at the reserve, we decided to take Lily to see Kayleigh Sound Mirror. This large stone was used in wartime as an early detection device for hearing zeppelins and other aircraft. On the way back we saw this grey heron fishing and a whole load of house sparrows. So here at Kayleigh we've lost the kids, they've gone back to the car. We've seen a few things, just quite a lot of the normal stuff. We had a nice sighting of a summer colours little stint.
That was lovely, that
was good. I didn't get any footage of it though because it was a bit too quick to disappear. But we've had a rough, female rough, and a whole bunch of other cool waders. So I don't know where we're off to next. As everyone was thirsty, we headed to the Crown and Anchor pub and get everyone drinks, soft drinks of course. And then Lily took over the camera again to have a look round the local churchyard where there was some really interesting war graves.
There's no war grave we have, by this very old church. You're having an Aviary do. Yeah, there's no war grave. They're overgrown, so we can't quite see who it would belong to, importantly. But, yeah.
After a dinner break, we went out in the car to see if we could find some deer or hare. But first, we stopped at this church, where Olivia took over.
And it's just me and Mum because Lily and Emily are both in the car because they don't have their shoes, and Nigel has just taken a couple of pictures.
Here, dusk and dawn are the best time to see hare and deer, and this didn't disappoint as these two lovely hare were sat in a field. They were aware of us but didn't move. This young deer ran away as soon as it heard the car, but then stopped when it thought it was at a good distance. This was a wonderful way to end our day, but now it was time for bed.
Morning folks, it's I don't know what time it is, about 5:45 in the morning. I was up really early, couldn't sleep, it was really windy last night. I'm back at Spurn. The family's still asleep. But I'm going to head to see if I can get any better views of the great snipe. So I'm not sure if we've even got any plans for the rest of the day, or if any of it will involve birding. Whatever it is, we'll take you along with us. Could be interesting anyway. Alright, wish me luck with the great snipe, see if we can get some better footage than yesterday, and let's see what else we see today. Hi folks, back at the Great Snipe. As soon as I turned up there, it was showing really well. It was almost out in the open. The light wasn't great because it was so early, but I got a little bit of shaky footage before a crow spooked it. So within less than a minute of me being there, a crow spooked the snipe and it ran off into a load of undergrowth and never came back out. So I waited over an hour and nothing happened, so I'm back in the car. From now, I'm going to have a quick nip to Kayleigh Wetlands. I won't have much time there because I've got to go and get some breakfast for the kiddies and the wife. So I'll catch up later, stick with us.
So heading back to a brief visit to Kayleigh Wetlands, I saw this lovely wheatear, and when I got to the wetlands there wasn't actually that much there. There was a few sand martin and some of the normal waders we'd expect to see, like this oyster catcher. But now I had to go back and figure out what we were all doing that day. The decision was made to drive up towards Flamborough. On the way, having a very brief pit stop at Hornsea Mere, and then carrying on our journey, Continuing on to North Landing Beach. We're here at North Landing, which is on like Flamborough Head area. Family have gone ahead because I paid for parking, and I'm just about to catch them up. It's a lovely little beach, like a little bay with like really, it's not quite sand, it's like a really tiny pebbles. But there's puffins nesting in the walls. It's really picturesque. I'll show you in a minute. It's really pretty. The walk down the hill to the picturesque bay is pretty steep. When we finally got down there was a crowd of people surrounding a young seal that was on the beach. Some of them seemed concerned, but the seal seemed pretty well, moving further up the beach as the tide came in. We left the seal to sunbathe and relaxed and played on the beach with the kids. We weren't the only people frolicking in the water. There was loads and loads of birds around. There were many seabirds nesting on the cliffs around the bay, most numerous being the kittiwakes. And up on the cliffs there were plenty of nesting guillemots and a surprisingly large amount of razorbills. We know from a past visit that puffins do nest here. Last time I was here the tide was out, so I was able to get nearer the cliffs. This time it was in. I did see some puffins flying though. After a really good time on the beach, it was time to leave. We had a dinner reservation in Bridlington, but we still had a little bit of time to nip into Bempton Cliffs RSPB. Hey folks, very quick trip to Bempton Cliffs on the way to our dinner reservation. Literally we've got maybe 15-20 minutes, so stick with us, let's see what we see in that short time. Due to having a very short window time-wise, we didn't walk as far as we usually would to see the huge gannet colony. We did see some kittiwakes and plenty of razorbills, and although we didn't get so close to the gannets, I did get this footage from a distance of a large number of them. This place is amazing to see seabirds, gannets, kittiwakes, guillemots, puffins, razorbills and fulmars, and I know we'll be back soon. Last here but not least is one of my favourite birds, as I've mentioned in previous videos, the tree sparrow. These birds are quite numerous here, but now it was time to get dinner. We headed to Bridlington, parked by the harbour and went off to Leo's, which is an Italian restaurant. It's a family restaurant who do good quality food. Then it was back to the tent. Hey folks, behind me that's the sun going down on our second night here. Tomorrow we're going home via hopefully a binocular shop to get Kayleigh a new pair of binoculars, which will be good, and we'll give you an update on what they are. And we may go to a National Trust because Millie's into history, as I mentioned earlier. That was the following day, but first, bedtime. Morning folks, this is the morning we leave. We're slowly packing up. And when we're packed up, we're going to head on the road and we're going to stop off for a couple of places on the way back. So stick with us, it should be interesting. After nipping to see my peacock friend, who I named Percy, and seeing this wonderful hare, it was time to think about packing up the tent. As we were doing this, I noticed some of the birds around the campsite where we were. There was quite a number of meadow pipits. The always vocal skylark was around all the time. If you didn't see it, you certainly heard it. There was a number of starlings, some with young, and pied wagtail. All of these birds presumably feeding on insects. Upon moving some things out of the tent to pack the car, I saw this wonderful kestrel hovering right next to the car. It's not often you see them quite this close, so this was stunning. Once we were packed up, it was time to leave Holham Airfield and head towards home. We had a couple of planned stops on the way, one of them being Water's Edge Country Park. The primary reason we came here wasn't necessarily for the birds, although there were certainly a few there, like this lovely house sparrow and this Canada goose with lots of goslings. We were here to upgrade Kayleigh's binoculars. What have you got?
Pair of binoculars.
What binoculars are they, babe?
The Viking Ospreys.
Very nice binoculars.
Very expensive binoculars.
Very expensive binoculars. So this is a birthday present for Kayleigh because big birthday present. It's not quite a birthday yet, but we're in the area where someone was selling them, and we've tried a few pairs, and they were the ones we've come out with.
And they're amazing.
And they're really, really good. We've got to thank my late sister. She left some money in her will. She passed recently. She left some money in her will, and some of that money's gone to these very binoculars. So thank you very much, Caroline.
Thank you.
Back to birding. Obviously, with new binoculars, she wanted a quick look around the country park to test them out. And on the pond, there was a few subjects to look at. These included the pretty common tufted duck, a surprise pochard that I didn't expect to see, which is always wonderful, one singular gadwall, and as we walked further along, there was a mallard preening on a rock. He didn't stay on there long because he got bullied off it by a crow. One bird we were happy to see flying around fishing was this common tern. We headed back to the car as time was short, as our plan was to go to a National Trust building, but en route here, disaster. Whilst driving, I heard a massive clunk under the car shook, and I parked it up on the hard shoulder. We didn't see anything initially, but when trying to drive again, the car lost power. I wouldn't drive at all. The rest is probably not worth talking about. Ultimately, the car was dead. What would we do? Find out in the next adventure. Thanks for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and please press the notification bell. See you soon.